Okay, so with this new incarnation of FlatOut, we've managed to obviously aesthetically improve the product, and we've got a plethora of new game modes. So aside from the 20 hours derived from the FlatOut career structure, which is your more serious driving aspect, we also have the 5 new game modes. In single player, we've got 2 exclusive new modes, and these are as diverse as all of the other modes that we've already had in FlatOut. You'll still see the stunts, the derby, and the racing aspect, so none of that has been removed. We've just added quite considerably to it. Online, again, we've added downloadable content support. Haven't actually finalized what we're going to do with it, but we actually have something which we think is quite impressive. And Beat the Bomb, as opposed to just racing with all of the other AI characters against other players, it's just you and a track, and you have a bomb strapped to your back, and you have to pass through checkpoints. Each of these checkpoints gives you more time, so essentially it's more of an arcadey game, and it's a bit like Speed, I would say. A little bit like Speed, the movie. Another one of the new modes is the Carnage Mode, and Carnage Mode, it's not just finishing in first position, it's also a combination of points and position. And the way you accumulate points is by smashing into other cars and smashing into the scenery. So it's how you win, not just winning. And so even though you finish in first place, for example, you might not necessarily win the actual race overall, because you need to accumulate a certain amount of points. The challenge mode, there's 36 individual challenges, 4 are unlocked by default, and the way you unlock them is the non-linear way of unlocking things. Initially you'll start with 4 unlocked, and there'll be 4 different types of game modes. So you'll have a stunt challenge, and you'll have a beat the bomb challenge, or a deathmatch derby challenge. And as opposed to completing every single individual challenge, you can choose to pick the challenges that you're particularly good at, because the total score is what counts. So a certain amount of points results in certain challenges being unlocked. So you're not bogged down to just actually playing every single individual challenge, because for some people they might get a little bit frustrated with that because they can't play a certain mode. So we didn't want to bog them down with that. We wanted to give them an opportunity to experience everything without having to play everything to the best of their ability. The career structure is for your more serious driving fanatics. So we have 30 cups split between 3 distinct types. So we've got the derby class cars, we have the street, and we have the race cars. So you start off with the weakest car, a slow car admittedly, but it can take a fair amount of damage. And as you progress on through the races, you accumulate more points, and these points you can transmute to cash, and the cash again you can purchase either upgrades for your cars, or you can purchase new cars with which to race in. And it's a semi-linear approach. Although each of the individual cups are linear, there's you can chop and change between the race classes as and when you need to. So you're not necessarily stuck with the derby class for the full duration of, let's say, 10 hours. So you don't have to complete all of the derby cups to actually go on to the better looking cars, the faster cars, so the race and the street cars. You can actually accumulate just enough points for unlocking those particular cars and then move on to them. As with as you would expect from a 360 game, there's online unranked games and there's online ranked games. And the unranked games, you can structure your own tournaments. So in the tournaments you can have a derby, you can have a race, and you can have stunts. There's also some exclusive online modes. One of the modes is head-on. So as opposed to circling around in the same direction when you finish a lap, at the end of a lap you turn around and face the opposite direction. So you'll have 7 cars oncoming, so as you can imagine there's going to be a lot of carnage, a lot of head-on collisions, and really proliferate the whole carnage aspect. So there'll be a lot of chicken scenarios: who's going to move left, who's going to move right, or let's just head-on collision. So, you know, that's really going to proliferate the carnage aspect of the game. Online, in the unranked aspect, you can structure your own tournaments, as I mentioned, so you can have a stunt. So you might be the best racer, but you might not necessarily be the best at Demolition Derby. Again, with the Xbox rank system, it utilizes the true skill system. So if you're number 1 in the world, you won't play the last player in the world. There's sort of a balance there, so there's a rubber banding of who you can and can't play. Online you can play 8 players, and one of the big improvements we've made in Ultimate Carnage from FlatOut 2 is that you can play the stunts simultaneously. So when you structure your tournaments online, you don't have to wait for people to finish their turn. You can see their ghost, and you can either choose to follow their line or go your own line, but that'll make everything a lot more snappy, a lot quicker. At the moment we've got around 50 achievements, and as you would expect, these range from your relatively simple ones so that we can reward pretty much everybody to the more quirky, the more hardcore achievements. So one of the achievements we've got, though these aren't finalised yet, they're being finalised, is if you're second to last on the if you're last on the second to last lap and you become first, you get an achievement through that. So as you can see, there's a broad range of achievements for you to unlock. So some really simple and some more difficult, more challenging, that really reinforces, you know, the length of time that you spend on the game. Well, one of the things with Microsoft is that you can't take the easy route. Because there is concept approval, and they've specifically wanted certain things. And for us ourselves, we're not happy with just re-releasing the same game. Although this is the only version you'll be able to play on the 360, because FlatOut 2 you can't play on the 360. So this will be the first time anybody will experience this on the 360. We wanted to give them a more varied gameplay experience. We didn't want them to just have a relatively cheap product, you know, just as you said, a port. Technically you couldn't port the assets, everything had to be reworked from scratch. And although we've got a whole range of new game modes, you'll notice that, you know, the cars may be familiar and some of the tracks will be familiar as well. So we didn't want to chicken out and just do a port. We thought it'd be more rewarding for everyone involved, even for those who worked on the product, to actually have something, you know, extra. And so we've tried to add as much as we can within the time frames that we've got. Even for the actual development team, you know, they live racing games, and Bugbear, the development team, all they've done is racing games, and that's what they enjoy. So they didn't want to do that themselves. They didn't want to just have a graphical overhaul and that's it. They wanted to give a gameplay experience that everybody will enjoy, something for everybody, something for new fans and something definitely for the older fans who are familiar, who may have FlatOut 2.
I am Guy Cocker for GameSpot, and I'm here with Danny Rawls, who's the producer on FlatOut Ultimate Carnage. Now, Danny, can you give us a bit of a background about the game?
Yeah, sure. What FlatOut Ultimate Carnage is all about is what we set out to do is create the most kind of destructive racing game we possibly could. And now with the third iteration of FlatOut, we brought it onto the 360. We pushed the machines to the limit, and you know we're managing to do things that, you know, we think no other racing game has managed to pull off so far.
So the last game was on the PlayStation 2. What has the 360 allowed you to do? Is it increase the destructibility of the cars, I think?
Yeah, I mean, basically everything in the game has been increased. So we've upped the number of objects per track. We're now racing 12 cars as opposed to 8 in previous series. The whole lighting system's completely new. Everything's been, you know, dynamically lit, textured. We use normal maps, parallax mapping. You know, all these kind of cool things that we can now do on 360.
So as for the game itself, talk a little bit about the career mode. What sort of different races does the game offer?
Well, in the career mode, that's kind of like the more serious side of the game. So what we have is the 3 separate classes that we normally have in the previous FlatOut game. So we got the derby class, the race class, and the street class. So what they offer is a progression through the career mode. So you start off slow, building your way up to the faster cars. Throughout the career mode, you basically play every single track that's available in the game. So from, you know, we've got 10 different environments in there, spanning about 30 different tracks. So from forest tracks to race tracks, city, canals, all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty complete.
So do you have to worry about kind of buying cars and making upgrades and that sort of thing?
Absolutely, yeah. The way the career mode works is it's all about buying cars. It's all about upgrading. So, you know, managing your money, winning races, winning cups and stuff will give you the money to buy cars and to fully upgrade the cars that you've already got existing as well. So, and obviously as you press through, more cars unlock, allowing you to further your career.
So one of my personal favourite modes from the last game was kind of the Destruction Derby. Modes that made it through to Ultimate Carnage?
Absolutely, yeah. We couldn't have FlatOut without the Destruction Derby stuff, and what we've done is we've included the original stuff, but also extended it as well. So one of the new game modes is the Deathmatch Derby mode. So what that is, it's kind of like your first-person shooter deathmatch kind of format. So what it is, you get a certain amount of lives, and kills is the name of the game. So it's not last man standing; it's how many kills you can get. But there's 12 wacky games where your character, your driver, is like if it's basketball, he's the ball. If it's 10-pin bowling, he's the ball again. So you use your driver to knock down the pins, use your driver to score, hoops and all that kind of stuff. It's just silly fun, really. That's the mini games are just really good fun. So.
Okay, and when's the game out in the US?
It's down for the fall at the moment, so expect it in a few months' time.